Okay, I got a book from the library the other day, and I thought I'm going to start reading these to you. Now I'm going to give you a little disclaimer before I start reading these. My family has not been in Ireland since the 1840s. Okay. My great-great-great-grandfather came here from Ireland during the potato famine, which a lot of Irish people, that's when their family came over. And so I'm not that great. I have a little bit of knowledge of Celtic and, on how to pronounce things. Probably a lot more than my even my mother did. But forgive me, something fell over. I had to fix it. But I'm going to start reading. I'm going to read this to you. The book that I got. It's called. I pulled out my glasses so I can actually read. Sam McBratney, Celtic Myths, illustrated by Stephen Player. Okay. Now, most of the time the books that I get, that I read to you guys from, they're kid friendly. I'm not going to call this kid friendly. Okay, it's probably more teens, only because it's Celtic, and God bless my ancestors. They could be kind of gruesome. I often laugh when people show me pictures of fairies, and they look so cute and pretty, and and I go, oh my dear, that's not what a fairy looks like. Let me Google Irish fairies sometimes. If you Google Irish fairies, oh my heavens, they're scary. Okay, and they were meant to be scary. No, they've always been meant to be scary. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start reading some of these Celtic myths. And the first one we're going to read is the Hound of Ulster. Okay. And I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do my best to pronounce these names correctly. This one actually, the one name is actually written out for pronunciation, but the other one is not. And so I'm going to take what little bit I do know of how to pronounce words, because bless their Gaelic and Celtic, the letters don't match the sounds. It's just the way it is. I think I heard someplace that Welsh is the same way. The English tried to write out in English words that have no, they make no sense. But this is, like I said, this is the Hound of Ulster. It says here, our first story is about the greatest of Ireland's early heroes. He was named Shatana as a child. This story tells how he came to be known as Cuchulainn, or Coholin. I'm going to say Coholin because I don't think they have an oo. I think it's, don't think that oos are that, so it's Coholin, or Cuchulainn. Okay. When Santana was still a child, he was sent into the north of Ireland to live at the court of King Conor. Boys were often fostered in those days. The court of King Conor was really a school for young warriors where they learned the art of wrestling and archery, hunting and hawking, and also how to play the world game of chess. Each boy's ambition was to become one of Conor's famous Red Branch warriors. At first glance, Shatana was nothing much to look at. Many of the other boys seemed bigger and stronger than he was, and yet anyone watching the boys at play would have seen one who could run faster and further than the rest, and one who had more skill with the sling and the sword than any of the others. This was Shatana. He trained hard to learn the art of war, as if he knew that in the heat of real battle, a warrior did not get a second chance, because his first mistake had killed him. One day, the boys were at play when a group of horsemen came down the hill towards them. King Connor and his Red Branch warriors were on their way to a feast at the home of Colin, the blacksmith. They stopped to watch the game between the teams of boys. It soon became obvious that Chaitanya was the best player on the field. Not for the first time, Connor was struck by the boy's amazing energy and by his will to win. The king remembered a prophecy which had been made at the time of the boy's birth. The name of this child shall be in the mouths of all men, and poets shall sing of his deeds. Chaitanya, Connor called out. We're visiting tonight at Colin's house. There's a place at table for you if you want to come. Good red meat, boy. Good red wine. Fergus Roy, one of the Red Branch warriors, laughed out loud as he nudged his horse forward. The boy is no bigger than a nettle, Connor. He's too young for good red meat and good red wine. It would be wasted. One of these days I'll spend your good red blood, Fergus, Chaitanya shouted back. This was met by a roar of merriment from the mounted warriors, but the king was impatient to be away. Well, are you coming or not, boy? We want to get to Colin's place before dark. We haven't won the game yet, Connor. The little cub must have his victory, thought Connor. Oh well, perhaps it was no bad thing. Finish it then. We'll leave a horse for you and you can follow after. Connor and the Red Branch warriors made their way to the hill where Colin lived. The huts on the crest of the hill were surrounded by a wooden fence. It was getting late, so Colin had already gathered his animals into the stockade. A sign of the times, thought Connor. You could never tell when a raiding party might come out of the woods and make off with your cattle. They were met by Colin himself. At his side, held tight on a strap, a ferocious beast slabbered at the mouth, as if it had not been fed for a week. This was Half-Wolf. The dog was famous throughout the land. It would attack any living thing that moved. Connor dismounted, embraced his old friend. So how are things for the best sword beater in the land? Oh, quite enough. But I have a spear to show you, Connor, that will pin any man in the world to the nearest tree. Colin raised his voice to the Red Branch warriors. Come through the gate. I like to make the place safe at night. Keep a good tight hold on that crazy animal, Colin, Fergus said. She's all right. She knows your friends. Don't you, my lady? Colin smiled fondly at Half-Wolf. She wouldn't be any use to me if she was a quiet little pet, would she? Every thieving beggar knows that if he comes near this place, the dog will eat his heart out. Is everyone here, Connor? Yes, we're all here. Fergus is looking forward to good red meat and good red wine. Go inside then. There's plenty of both. I'll be with you in no time. When the others had gone inside, Colin made sure that the hurdle gate was shut. Then, letting the dog off the strap, he whispered into its ear. There you go, Half-Wolf. It's over to you, my lady. Guard us well. Anything strange you don't like the smell of, it's all yours. The game was over. Chaitanya did not hurry his horse on the way to Colin's house, for this was the time of day becoming night, when nothing could be seen clearly. There was no point in riding headfirst into the branch of a tree. The hurdle gate was up when he arrived. No matter, thought Chaitanya. He would climb the gate, open it from the inside, and let his horse through. Such, at any rate, was his plan. But as soon as his feet landed within the wooden stockade, a bounding, shifting shape came out of the night toward him. The speed of the creature's attack surprised and shocked him. At first he had no idea what it was. It was like the rising up again of some terror he had buried in a long-forgotten dream. Then Chaitanya saw the teeth and the steaming breath of the creature. He heard the low snarl of rage in its voice become a roar, and then he knew that the Hound of Colin was almost upon him. Inside the main hut, where the meal had begun, they heard the same roar. Colin glanced toward the door in alarm. "It's Half-Wolf. Something is after the animals." Then Connor swept to his feet, his face as pale as death in the rushlight. "Ah, the boy!" "What boy?" cried Colin. "Curse me for a fool, Colin. I forgot about the boy. He was to follow after us. Call it off." "But Connor," Colin cried out, as the king rushed past him. "Whoever that is, there can be no hope for him. You said everyone was here. Ye guides and stars, the dog is only doing what it must do." Connor raced out of the hut and across open ground toward the shape near the gate. "The dog is twice the boy's weight," he was thinking. "There can be no hope for him, none. The brute is a born killer." Connor could not bear to see what he knew he must see by the light of torches now arriving. The red-benched warriors saw the dog in the air above Shatana's head as he flung it across against the pillar of the gate. It slumped to the ground in a limp heap. Even as it tried to struggle to its feet again, Shatana thrust his javelin into his body, and it lay quite still. After some moments, Fergus turned to Connor with a whisper. "It's dead. He killed the Hound of Ulster, almost with his bare hands. How can this be, Connor?" "Just thinking of that beast gave full-grown men nightmares. I know the boy is unusual." And now Colin came to kneel at the body of his dog, from where he looked up with a kind of desperation. "I'm glad the boy is alive, Connor. Everyone knows I would wish no one of yours any harm. But this animal was a loyal servant and a friend to me." He pulled out the javelin and returned it to Shatana in a sullen way. "And now she's dead. Who will protect me now from thieves and robbers? Everyone knows the times we live in." Shatana spoke. "Have you no other dogs?" "I have a pup of 6 months, one of hers." "Well then," Shatana went on, "here is my offer to you, Colin. Raise the pup as you raise this one, to be your servant and your friend. And while the pup is growing, I will take Half-Wolf's place. I will protect your property and your animals until the pup is old enough to do the job that Half-Wolf did. Me for the dog." He glanced at the king. "If Connor agrees." Connor nodded. "What do you say, Colin? The boy can't do fairer than that. You've seen for yourself what a hound he can be." "Well, it sounds like a reasonable bargain. And the little twig probably eats less than a dog," laughed Fergus. "We'll have to find a suitable name for you, boy. No more Shatana. You are now Kululite, which means the Hound of Ulster. Can you howl like a wolf in the night?" With whoops and cries and howls like wolves in the night, the Red Branch warriors returned to the meal which still awaited them in the main hut. Connor remained alone for some moments, reflecting on what he had seen. The prophecy was true. He saw that now. The boy would become the greatest of the branch warriors, and poets would sing the song of this champion down the ages. Koholin. A good name. It had a ring to it. And in time, the Hound of Ulster would become the Hound of Ulster.